Hi, thanks for the time today. I'm Kris. I'm the Managing Director of Challenger Energy. We're listed on the ASX and we've got a market cap of about 200 million. We have two complementary gold projects in South America. We have the Wallyland gold project in Argentina, historical resource of over 600,000 ounces at 13.5 grams gold, which is open in all directions. And, look, with that one, it was locked up in a dispute between the two owners for 15 years. We came in as a circuit breaker about 18 months ago. So really, this project has missed all modern exploration. In Ecuador, we're in southern Ecuador. We're 5 kilometres along from strike from a 17 million ounce ore body, which is currently being permitted. We've got a regional scale footprint, which is 35 square Ks. And the game changer for us, as part of increasing that footprint, 2 months ago, we farmed into a 20 square K concession that's operated by small scale miners. They're producing about 10,000 ounces a year from narrow veins. We had a look at some of the 60 holes they drilled chasing feed for their mill that they've never really assayed. We thought, it looks like there's a bulk gold system here. A couple of weeks ago, we got assays back for the first of those 60 holes that we put in, and we're on 134 metres at a gram with a higher grade core. So, we are onto a world-class bulk gold deposit in Ecuador as well. So I'll talk about Argentina first. Firstly, on that historical resource, the average grade of all of the drill holes is about 10 grams gold equivalent. We think that resource, they smeared some of the high-grade panel samples. So look, when we come out with a JORC resource later this year, it will be near 10 grams gold equivalent, which is still a very high grade. As I said, no modern exploration. We're in San Juan province, which is a tier 1 mining jurisdiction in Argentina. You've got Lundin Gold about to start construction. You've got Fortescue in the province. We sit on granted mining leases. We're redoing the metallurgy now. The previous metallurgy is 20 years old. It's fairly simple. You get 80% of the gold and silver out into a high-grade gold and silver concentrate, and as in concentrate stream. Sort of one comment there, looking at the petrography we had done, is I don't think they used to find enough grind. It's about 30 micron gold, so hopefully we'll do a lot better than that 80%. And great infrastructure. We sit 200 metres from a sealed highway. We're 1,000 metres elevation. You can work all year round. Permanent water, which will cover our processing needs 4 k's away. And a regional power grid being built. I mean, having said that, unless we get a very big deposit here, which ends up being more than 200,000 ounces a year, you'd run diesel. The drilling results we've got on the right, that sort of first result, 6 metres at almost 35 grams gold, that probably tells the story of this project. That was a twin of a Canadian hole that got 4 metres at 4. And the Canadians then worked out recovery is an issue here. If you don't get almost 100% core recovery, you wash out the sulfides. They retwinned that hole about a year and a half later and got sort of 6 metres in the mid-30s as well. And really what we're doing is we're drilling a long strike underneath old Canadian holes that they thought had closed it off. And we're getting the typical intersections here, 6 metres at 14, 2 metres at 20. We're midway through about an 80-hole program at the moment. We've just put out the first batch of assay results about a week ago. And, again, great results that are pushing this thing along strike and down dip, 8 metres at 17 grams gold, almost 4 metres at 12 grams gold equivalent. And this is what the ore body looks like in 3D. This Magnata vein and Sanchez vein, they're the sort of key controlling structures. So they're big, basin-wide, fairly vertical east-west wrench faults. The mineralisation has come up these faults from below, probably an intrusive source, and you've got these east-west veins, and then where are these sort of east-west faults intersected the dipping limestone beds, it's then replaced out along the limestones with massive sulfide bodies. You can see the historical drilling there. All of the old drilling was clustered under the shafts and adits. You had a junior basically chasing exploration results. We've stepped at 50 metres down dip and along strike in the Magnata vein, 50 metres down dip and along strike at Centerson, 100 metres down dip in the main Manto, and it really is open everywhere. There's one hole drilled in the middle of these two bodies that got a metre at almost 1 gram gold and 2 grams silver. So, what we're finding is these bodies are all joining. This is a very big system. And, in terms of the mineral assemblage, the very southern bit here centres, and that is the higher grade assemblage. So you sort of take what you've got on the north and wrap it over. And this is just the same area in 3D. The key takeaways here are the green are the prospective structures. The red dots are where we've identified mineralisation in the field, and that the yellow blobs there are the historical resource down to 125 metres for 600,000 ounces. So, really there's less than 10% of the footprint here in that 2 kilometre main zone's been drilled. Just to wrap up on Wallyland, the photo there on the right gives you an idea. You can see the extent of that main 2 kilometres. 4.5 kilometres further north, just off our ground, there's another high-grade gold-silver deposit. Where that second question mark is, there's mineralisation outcrop at surface. So, really, we've got 8 kilometres of virtually unexplored strike here. If this deposit was in Kalgoorlie, it'd have 2,000 drill holes down to 1,000 metres, and we'd know how big it is. So, in terms of pending news flow, the next 12 months is all going to be about drilling, increasing the resource, metallurgy, and then once we've got critical mass, we'll do some sort of economic studies. But you'll see network in another month. You'll see continued batches of drilling results every 2 or 3 weeks, and then you'll see a first resource and then a follow-up resource later on in the year. I'll go on to Ecuador now. And again, we sit sort of, southern Ecuador along strike from the 17 million ounce ore body. Those historical results there were drilled by Newmont 20 years ago. And, you have a look, it's typical sort of big company work where they'd never gone to site. 2 of those holes there ended in 5 grams gold mineralisation, never followed up. The first 4 holes, 3 of them got, over 100 metres at almost half a gram gold with visible chalcopyrite, copper ore logged all through the hole, never assayed for copper and never followed up. And what we did is we ran a 3D MT survey just to see how deep the porphyry systems are. When we found out that porphyry systems were sort of within 300 metres of surface, we shut it down and picked up all the ground around it. And you can see there, that 150 metre discovery hole that I'll talk about shortly as well, which is the game changer for us. First, I'll just touch on our traditional geophysics. You can see there are 3 historical holes that are all over 100 metres at better than 1% copper equivalent. That's a chargeability anomaly there. So that's one IP line we've done, and you can see that 24A, those 3 holes have just tagged the very top of big chargeability anomaly. You step down 300 metres and this thing is 3 times as wide, 3 times as intense. That 24A and 24B is a 100 million tonne envelope. And as part of tying in the geophysics, we measured the IP response in the core. Some of the bits of that core go about 2% copper, and it's a straight line relationship. Higher chargeability response, higher grade, as you would expect. You're just simply seeing more sulfides. 24C, that's another anomaly that's never been recognised. Outcrops that doesn't outcrop the surface. When you go and map up at the top there, you can see all of the fractures above that are stained blue and green with copper. That's another 100 million tonne envelope. I'll move on to sort of, the concession we only picked up a couple of months ago. Now, the artisanals, they did some great work. They've done a regional soil geochemistry. You can see that A, B, C, D, and E are traditional sort of, gold and copper and soil anomalies. Where I've got the blue circle that just clips the main part of that undrilled soil anomaly, that's the main adit, where we've mapped about 300 metres of porphyry mineralisation. The top 40 metres that we've panel sampled there go about 1.5 grams, which coincides with the main parts of the geochemical anomaly. The red circle there, that's where that first hole that got 150 metres or 134 metres at 1 gram sits. And I suppose the obvious question is there, why would they drill there? There's no geophysical response. So I'll go in and we'll take a closer look at that. What I'm showing here is the antimony in soil anomaly map. And the reason I'm showing that is this is a funny kind of system. The core is all extremely chopped up. It looks like it's controlled by a regional sort of structural trend. The gold correlates really highly with antimony, arsenic, bismuth and tellurium. So, we've now obviously scrambled and looked at all of these historical cores on that trend. And, what we see is there's a sort of 400 to 500 metre long, 200 metre wide, defined down to 400 or 500 metres an open, body of mineralisation. It's a very big system, and really the focus over the next 3 months is getting all of those cores in now for assay. We've sent another 7 in to be assayed in the last 2 weeks, and the aim here is at the end of another 3 or 4 months, perhaps twin a couple of holes, we can come out with a very large bulk gold resource. And in terms of follow-up, you can see down there along that major regional trend, you've got 2 sort of 750 metre long undrilled high antimony with coincident gold and soil anomalies there. And that's clearly structurally controlled. The creeks down there are dead flat. So look, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time. The aim for Challenger is really to use the cash flow we'll have out of Argentina to then fund a large bulk gold operation in Ecuador. I'm more than happy to take one-on-one meetings, or pop through and send me an email, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So thank you very much for your time.